Syllaboo, everybody, and welcome back to the HabWrap, your friendliest and funniest source for anything and everything Montreal Canadiens. My name is Harry Rice. I will be your host tonight. Let's talk about the game that happened tonight. Of course, this is the third game of the regular season, the third game of the season for the Bleu, Blanc et Rouge. We were in Chicago for Chicago's home opener to their season. They played, I believe, their two last games. I believe it was Florida and Boston, if I remember correctly. And this is their home opener. Our home opener is, of course, next game we play the Seattle Kraken, which, of course, we will be up to recap along with every other game, hopefully, this year. It was an interesting game. There was something of note that's probably going to stand for the rest of the season, I would imagine. There's something incredible as well that happened in this game. But in order for that to be recapped, we got to talk about the lines for both teams. Of course, the lines. Everybody loves the lines. So what were they? Well, for the Montreal Canadiens, they were Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Bolduc, Doc, Gallagher, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, and Anderson, Evans, Laine, Matheson, Dobson, Gooley, Hudson, and Jack-Eye Carrier were on the blue line. Yes, the exact same lines that we had in Game 1 and 2. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the lines are a little broken. We'll get to the lines that are broken. Samuel Montembeault gets the start in net, and Jakub Dobeš backs him up after a pretty damn good game against the Detroit Red Wings back on Thursday, I believe it was. Yeah, because we're Saturday on Thursday. So, the opening lines for the Blackhawks were Colton, Doc, Bedard, Burakovsky, Teravainen, Nazar, Bertuzzi, Donato, Green, and Mikheyev, and Foligno, Reichel, and Lafferty. On the blue line, it was Vlasic, that's Alex, not Mark Edward. I'm pretty sure Mark is retired. But Vlasic, Renzel, Kaiser, Crevier, and Grzelcyk, Murphy. That is Connor Murphy, not Ryan Murphy. I'm thinking of Ryan Murray. He's, I think, also retired. The Hawks, very interestingly, going with a completely young top four and putting both of their veterans on the bottom pair. That's a choice. Spencer Knight will get the start because, duh. And Victor Arvidsson. I'm so used to him being the only Arvid in the NHL. Arvid Soderblom backs him up. We just played his, I believe, brother in Elmer. He was with the Red Wings, but Arvid backs him up. He'll be looking to prove himself whenever he eventually gets a game. I like Arvid. He's a big boy. He's big and tall. You would think that's good for being a goaltender, but Ivan Fedotov says, not so much. You can get paid for being big, but don't know about actually playing well for being big. Before the game, I said the notes for the first period are going to be done on the computer because I had to pause my TV because Dad wasn't home yet, so I said, let's see how this goes. I think it might have actually arguably been better doing the notes on my computer because I didn't have to look down at my phone to make sure I was spelling everything right. But I'll let you guys be the judge. First period again was on the computer. Second and third were on my phone. My dad had gotten home. My dad got home actually with like 10 seconds left in the first, funny enough. First note, and this is probably the most legendary note of the season. Holy shit, they're opening Saturday night, I was going to say Saturday Night Live. No, if they open Saturday Night Live with this guy, that would be awesome. They're opening up Hockey Night in Canada with Rush. They got Geddy Lee for the introduction. I genuinely don't remember which Rush song it is. I know it's a Rush song that's in Guitar Hero Live, but the name of it just escapes me right now. But they got Geddy Lee to do the introduction. He talked about watching Hockey Night in Canada growing up. That's awesome. Anytime you can get Geddy Lee or Alex Lifeson for Hockey Night in Canada, do it. I'm sure they would gladly lend any Rush song you wanted for Hockey Night in Canada. I just said, hell yeah. I loved it. Shout out Rush. One of the best bands of all time. Possibly the best Canadian band? I can't really think of another one that challenges them, but I guarantee if people watch this one that are rock fans, they'll probably comment, hey, yeah, this band's Canadian, maybe not comparing them, but just, hey, this band's Canadian, you got at least two good bands. Core Blood, they're a country band. I don't know if they'd count, because we're talking mostly rock, but if we're just going Canadian bands in general, Core Blood's definitely up there, at least for me personally. Shout out Core Blood. Oilers fans, I believe, at least the lead singer, Core Blood is. All right. Matheson gets away with interference on Bedard right off the opening draw, which is very funny because of the game that ensues. Nobody knows that that's going to be the least of both teams' concerns. Top line immediately presses. There's a shot by Dobson, tipped by Slavkovsky. Kapanen tries to center for Demidov, but that's taken away. Mikheyev has a shot blocked in the slot. Green then looks for one that was stopped and held. I did not notice Green much at all tonight. I think I noticed him. It was this, and I think I had one other note for him. I think. Might have been his first game, Ryan Green, for the Hawks. It was not noticeable. Evans off a steal goes to the net. That nearly gets banked in off an own man. It does get loose, and the Hawks come away with it. Then Bolduc and I believe it was Kaiser, who number 44 for the Hawks. They exchange a couple bumps. Like to see a little bit of physicality. Not necessarily dirty, but just, shoulder to shoulder. You love to see some stuff like that. Habs, once again, the top line presses. Matheson really good at pressuring. The puck gets centered by the Hawks. Gets centered BTU Hawks. I think I had a stroke when I wrote that note. The puck centered Boot Hawks, good D. I don't know what I meant by that. I think I meant the puck gets centered. But the puck is centered, but Hawks have good D. I just put the T before the U. I am a dumbass. Dobson sets one up, but that's stopped in front. And the Habs go to a power play. After that pressure, it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds in. Actually, 3:35, excuse you. It's a delay of game. Puck over glass to Ryan Donato. The second unit starts. Laine just can't get a one-timer. The wrister he takes gets stopped. Demidov and Gallagher, they seem to be playing decently on the power play together. I like the way that they're connecting with each other. Dobson under pressure with a great play to keep the puck away from the Hawks. That could have been a 2-on-1 if he misplayed that, but unfortunately, 0-for-1 on the power play because a call ends that power play for the Canadiens. Suzuki's called for a very obvious hold on Connor Murphy. That's just a bad penalty to take. We're getting 44 seconds, I believe. 44 seconds of 4-on-4 into a Hawks power play. Caulfield around the net off a rush. He tries to wrap but can't get it off. Habs then go offside. Monty stops Teravainen after Anderson pressured to the blue line. Dobson has a pass block, and he gets a clear. The Habs are 1-for-1 on the penalty kill tonight. I should mention the Caulfield thing was the only thing of note on the 4-on-4. Donato gets found on a near break. Montembeau blockers that away. Doc then presses. Good speed on him off pass from Kapanen. It looked like Kapanen at least. Gallagher tips a shot just over the net. That would have been sick to get Gallagher his first of the year. Suzuki has a nice hit. Caulfield goes for a skate. The puck just gets poked off him. And the Hawks lead in shots 5-2 halfway through the first period. And the Habs go to a power play. Grzelcyk, Sportsnet showed me that it was called for an illegal check to the head. But it updated. It's not even against Evans. Grzelcyk on Evans, as it said on Sportsnet. It's actually Murray. No, sorry. It is Grzelcyk, but it's for a high stick on Evans. Okay, I was reading the next penalty. My apologies. Habs Hawk cleared twice in the opening 30 seconds. Hudson with great skating. He nearly gets one by himself. He finds Suzuki, who goes to Bolduc. That gets stopped. Hudson with elite skating. Suzuki just can't gather it, and the Habs clear. Bolduc then gets shoved from behind. That's gutless by Connor Murphy, and it gets called. It's actually called for an interference. It's a 5-on-3 for 33 seconds. Suzuki then wanted a Hawk, but the ref comes in to separate everybody. Just, hey, Zooks, you guys are going to power play. Go to the bench. Piss off. And he does, because the second unit starts, actually. Demidov goes to Laine. There's a one-timer that he fans on. Dobson has a slapper tipped and bounces right to Knight, who covers. Laine off a draw gets a one-timer, but just can't get it. Towards the net. That ends the 5-on-3. Habs are 0-for-2 on the power play. Foligno then gets a break. Demidov gets back in time. A beauty of a play. I should say Foligno sort of out of the box. I mean, he was near where the box was, but where Grzelcyk was coming out, it was weird. Habs then rush, but there's a clear. Habs hold on to the puck a second too long when they're looking for a shot. But then Bolduc and Slough, as Knight leans too much, try to get into the net, but it ends up being cleared. So the Habs are 0-for-3 on the power play tonight. and we're still in the first period. Colton Dach then has a big hit on Gooley right after he had passed to generate a chance for the Habs. Love that he's willing to take a hit to get a play going. The shot that comes out of that is just wide. There's a Bedard shot held by Montembeault, or stopped by Montembeault. The Hawks look for a tip chance. Top line presses again. Caulfield on a break off of a chip in the Hawks zone. That shot gets stopped. Slav and Suzuki on a rebound. They just can't connect with a wide open net. Habs then go to a power play again with 4:20 left. Very nice. This is their fourth power play in the first period. Dobson got tripped. I said by it was Crevier, but it actually was Sam Lafferty. That's a clear call. Hawks clear as the Habs try to get it in the zone. Habs then set up. Bolduc gets in the slot. Shoots it, but it's just stick lifted as he went for it. That was good D. Demidov with the second unit. He only wanted Laine. There's passing around, but he only wanted Laine for the shot. There is a shot that gets stopped. Dobson finds Laine, who risks it. That's gloved down by Knight. Laine has a one-timer, but he doesn't get all of it. Doesn't lift it. The Hawks clear. Habs are 0 for 4 on the power play tonight. I put just pathetic, and oh boy. Carrier has a shot tipped by Evans into the chest of Knight. Evans with great shift. Hard work against the boards. Great puck battle. He wins it. He gets space. Shoots it with the screen, but it's just wide. And then he gets his own rebound. Just can't get it on net. Jake Evans deserved to be rewarded with a goal for that. And I really hope he scores soon because the fucking kid is just beauty of a defensive forward. Bertuzzi gets hit by a Hab. It's a clean hit, so of course the Habs don't like it, or the fans don't like it, I should say. Shots are 7-6 for the Canadians after the first, in which it's still scoreless, and after the horn, Bedard wanted Matheson. Gives him a punch after the whistle, gives him another, Matheson gives him one back. That was weird to see Bedard getting involved physically. I mean, I guess no one else on the team is willing to, so he does. Why not? All right. Now, that's it for the notes on the computer. Let's get into the second period notes starting on my phone. I still have 10 pages of notes on my phone. This will be fun. So for the second period, Demidov redirects a Hudson shot early. That gets stopped. Hudson has a nice deke, but just can't find the net. And Kaiser gets called for a cross-check on, I said it was Demidov, but they actually called it for the one on Bolduc. The one on Demidov is right in the head. Thankfully, Demidov looked fine. He actually did get a fat... was it there he gets a fat lip? I believe it was. But the Habs go back to the power play early in the second. That's a minute 46 in. First unit can't connect with passes. They try to set it up. And, of course, as I say that, they score. Habs got their first power play goal of the year 3 games in. Goal. Caulfield with his first of the year. Tips one off of a Bolduc shot. What a beauty of a shot. 2:45 in to the second period. He gets that from Bolduc and Suzuki. But it goes under review. It's not a coach's challenge. It's initiated by the league. And it's a good goal. Habs are determined to have been legalized with that goal. He kind of batted it. It looked like it might have been over the crossbar, but it wasn't. Habs are 1 for 5 on the power play. Bedard has a shot off of a steal. Whew. Anderson had looked for generating any type of offense in the Blackhawks zone, but that gets stolen. Bedard gets the shot. Habs ice a puck 4:30 in, and they score right off the faceoff. Sam Renzel with his first career NHL goal ties it up with a nice shot from the blue liner. He gets that from Teravainen and Frank Nazar. 4:34, so 4 seconds off the icing. Icings will sometimes bite you in the ass, unfortunately. Gooley has a big hit then on Frank Nazar a few minutes later, and we get a scrum. Holy shit. First fight of the year. Gooley's going to drop him. Gooley immediately after the hit, he sends Nazar flying. He looks up. He's already shaking the gloves as 3 guys are coming towards him. He's trying to figure out which one's actually going to fight him, and it's Wyatt Kaiser. So I thought. It was actually Lucas Crevier, who I thought was off in the corner with Newhook, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Gooley takes Kaiser down a second in. Kaiser then takes Gooley down 3 seconds later. They both exchange some fights. or exchanged some punches. They had 4 fights, you know. No, they exchanged a couple punches. Nice fight there. The crowd's getting into it. Demidov then gets in a scrum with Bertuzzi while Newhook is down. Bertuzzi had punched him in the back of the head. Demidov didn't like that. He goes over. Newhook had been engaged with who I thought was Lucas Crevier, but I guess that was Wyatt Kaiser. I confused Crevier and Kaiser all night, so the only way I knew that was Crevier is because I have the NHL.com thing up to get the PIMs at the right moment, so that's how I know it was Newhook with Kaiser, because of what we're about to get for penalties. So yeah. Ref was out of the ref's control, so I thought it was going to be, this would kind of be the high peak of the physicality for the game. Newhook and Crevier were also involved. Okay, never mind. This is where Demidov gets the fat lip. He's bleeding. So the penalties. Obviously, Crevier and Goulet are called for 5 for fighting, obviously. Crevier also gets a 10-minute misconduct and an instigator. It's actually because of the instigation that he gets the 10-minute misconduct. And Kaiser and Newhook also get 2 for roughing against one another. That's perfectly understandable. So, Habs get another power play. Suzuki gets a look. The other way, Hawks press shorthanded. Hudson with a nice stick. And the Canadians score. Going back the other way, they set up, and Zach Bolduc 3 goals in 3 games. The first since Yannick Perreault, and I believe they said, I believe it was 2001-2002. For the first time since that season, a Hab with 3 goals in the first 3 games in consecutively in 3 games. I'm sure we've had someone score a hat trick in like the second game of the year, and technically that would count. But 3 goals in 3 straight games to start the season. He gets the power play goal. 5:45 in, actually. I misread there. 6s and 5s look kind of similar, so I think you can understand that. From Caulfield and Suzuki off of a Caulfield shot, he gets the rebound. It's a 2-1 Habs lead. The Habs are 2 for 6 on the power play tonight. They've had 6 power plays, and we're not even halfway through the game yet. Hawks ice a puck after trying to jump into a hit on Evans, who thankfully avoids that. Hawks then go offside, and here we go. But Demidov shoves Bedard. Bedard gives him a shove back. Everybody gets right in there. Demidov then goes offside next place. That's funny to see both Bedard and Demidov emulating each other in that regard. At least Demidov can at least score. Both teams then press. Good board play leads to a Hawks rush. Slavkovsky hits Burakovsky. What a hit. Right in Montembeau's paint. That was but I think it was Bedard tried to feed Burakovsky. Doc then wants Slavkovsky, but Colton Doc wants Slavkovsky. Jack Guy comes right in there to handle him. Jack Guy's called for 2 for roughing, as he kind of got the arm and kind of gave him a headlock, gave Colton. That was kind of understandable. The Hawks had to get a power play at some point in the game. Shorthanded, there's a 2-on-1. Matheson goes to Evans. Holy shit. Knight dives across to make the save. That was a fantastic save. Probably Knight's best of the night. Bedard gets a one-timer wide as the Hawks cycle. And then Frank Nazar scores on the power play. It's a tie game. Yeah, Frank Nazar gets it off some cycling, and it actually goes off the pants of Bedard, so he scores that goal. It's technically considered a tip. It's bizarre. It is a bizarre goal. It's a bizarre Bedard goal from Nazar and Teravainen. It's a bizarre Bedard goal set up by Frank Nazar. Bars. Hey! Teravainen with the second assist there, 9:15 into the second. Habs are 0 for 1 on the penalty kill tonight. And then another power play for Montreal seconds after the face-off. Lafferty goes to the box for a trip on Hudson. That's just a dumb penalty to take. It looked like interference to me, but either way, it's a penalty. You can't run into a guy while he doesn't have the puck. Habs passing leads to a shorthanded chance. Smart of Bolduc. Leads to I think I meant a 2-on-1 rush. Smart of Bolduc to get... Habs passing leads to a shorthanded rush for the Hawks. Smart of Bolduc to get back in time to break that up. Habs then press. Hudson was setting it up, but it leads nowhere, unfortunately. Nazar has a shorthanded break, but there's a nice hit. There's a nice hit by Bolduc to break that up. And then Bolduc gets hit from behind. No call. Habs try to press, but there's nothing. So the Habs are 2-for-7 on the power play. I can't believe it. Neither can you, I'm sure. Those of you who didn't watch the game tonight are thinking, Harry, you're trolling. Surprisingly, no. Gallagher has a good chance. He tries to get something back the other way. The Hawks go offside. Bedard shoots it after the whistle. Carrier wants a piece of him. Bedard's fine with going at it, and everybody gets in another scrap. Not as violent as the one with Goulet and Crevier and Demidov and Newhook and those guys. But Bedard going at it with Carrier. He goes at it with Matheson a little bit as well. And we'll have some penalties. Anderson actually also wanted a piece of Bedard. The refs get in there to eventually break everything up. So what are the penalties? Carrier and Bedard are both called 2 for roughing. Bedard is called for an extra 2 for unsportsmanlike against Carrier. So I think it was because he shot the puck. That's considered unsportsmanlike, and he gets the extra. Habs to the power play. Caulfield has a shot, but there's a good poke to stop a cover. Slough then looks for Hudson, who isn't there. Mikheyev then cross-checks Hudson back in the Habs zone. Mikheyev cross-checks Hudson head first into the boards. There's no call. Thankfully, it wasn't rough. It was more just a cross-check, and Hudson's head kind of folded in. He was perfectly fine, but it's still dangerous. You do not like to see shit like that go uncalled. That was genuinely gutless. Mikheyev, I don't like that play at all. Second unit out there, Demidov has some good deking. He tries to set something up, but the Hawks do end up clearing. Habs are 2-for-8 on the power play tonight. That is right. The power play genuinely sucked tonight. Goulet has a shot from the line, but that's tipped. Good save by Knight. Doc with a nice deke. That's Kirby with speed. He takes Knight's stick. Nearly puts it home, but Knight makes the save with the pad. Kapanen blows a tire. Hawks try to get something. Matheson then gives the puck away. Matheson looked a little more like the typical Matheson we saw last year. Tonight, I'm really hoping that it's just a bad game and he's back to playing well like he did the first 2 games next game. And then Colton Dach gets called for a trip on Anderson with a minute 52 left. The 9th power play for the Canadians in this game. Laine refuses to hustle to loose puck off a rebound. Demidov is driving everything. Dach gets a look. Laine then gets one. Dobson has a shot from the blue line. That finally gets held. That's the first shot of the power play, I believe. First unit, Hawks clear. Hudson looks for one with a few seconds left, but time will run out. You basically know the power play is done because there's only 10 seconds left, and very unlikely you're going to score right off the draw. Shots are 19-10 for the Canadians and a 2-2 tie game after the second period. For the third period, Hawks kill it off immediately. You kind of knew it. The Habs are 2 for 9 on the power play. Jesus. Nazar gets a near break. Dobson checks him off the puck. Bedard has a long-range shot, gloved by Monty, 103 in. And then another penalty by the Chicago Blackhawks, a minute 47 in. Connor Murphy's called for a trip on Jake Evans. It's a textbook trip. Habs move the puck well. Hudson has 2 guys on him. He has a smart play. Bolduc in the slot. That's a good stop by Spencer Knight. Hudson then gets a shot. The rebound, Suzuki can't bury it. Mikheyev tries to swing a stick at Suzuki after the cover. Hawks then clear this broken stick that leads to a Habs chance. Slavkovsky has a shot wide. The rebound, Caulfield just goes wide too. Slavkovsky off a Hudson shot block. Vlasic then blocks that Slavkovsky shot. The Habs are 2 for 10 on the power play tonight. That is genuinely unacceptable. The only one we really had chances on that we didn't score on was that last one. Every other one, I would bet that if you track the power play shots we had tonight, I think we had maybe 5, maybe 6 if we were lucky. Excluding the 2 that went in, 4 shots on 8 power plays. Like, are we sure we fired Alex Burrows as our power play coach? Are we sure that he's still not lingering around just teaching these kids to just have a bad power play? Like, there needs to be a few moves on the power play. I don't know what those are. I think Demidov running the first unit would be well, but I don't know who you're taking off because Bolduc's well in the slot. Hudson you can't take off. Caulfield's the left guy. Suzuki's the bumper guy, and Slavkovsky's a net front guy who can play the right side one-timer. I don't know how you're going to get fit Demidov on that first unit right now. but just you got to do something. You have to do something. I don't know. Maybe you move Caulfield down to the second unit, take Line off the power play altogether because he's clearly not working. Maybe Line being a healthy scratch for Florian Jacki in the lineup might help. Get some more energy into the lineup. That might help, but I don't know. I don't know what you do, but just there's got to be something to the power play. The funny thing is the 5-on-5 lines are actually pretty good. It's just the power play that completely sucked tonight. Habs try to press. Both teams are just kind of turning it over at some point. 5.5 in. Hawks go to a power play as they finally get another one. Nazar gets on the near break. Gouli hooks him. That's a clear call, but a good one. You'd rather that over a clear-cut breakaway. Hawks press. They find Bedard on a one-timer. That's saved by Montembeault. There's a shot that's held from the blue line. The Habs then press. Matheson can't steal from behind the net. Kapanen eventually does get the clear. Matheson then loses his stick. It's basically a 5-on-3.5. Shout out the hockey guy. Matheson lays down in front of a pass. That's some good shit. The Habs are 2. I said 2 for 3 on the power play, but I think at this point they were 1 for 2. No. They were 2 for 3 because they had the one that was for Suzuki. They had the one that was Jacki. So yeah, they're 2 for 3 on the power play tonight. Actually, at that point, I was right on the penalty kill. I should say. Hawks pressure still, regardless. They just couldn't get shots. Matheson gets it out with help from Evans. Real nice defensive play there. Suzuki and Caulfield have a 2-on-1. Zook shoots into the chest. That's held with 11 minutes left. Yeah, there's only a minute left. Yeah, nothing really happened. No, 11 minutes left. Both teams battle against the boards. The Hawks come away with it. Demidov and Hudson get some vision after. Hudson shoots for a tip, but the stop by Knight is what he gets. Burakovsky hits a post off a 2-on-1 pass from Bedard. There's another shot stopped by Monty. Seconds later, there's a top line rush chance with Dobson. He nearly tips a shot home from Slavkovsky. And the Hawks go to a power play again. This one with about 6.5 left. Dobson's called 2 for a high stick on Frank Nazar. Nazar had a good game. He drew the 2 penalties in the third. I think he just, in general, had a solid game. The only thing he didn't do was score. He did have the primary assist. He actually had 2 assists tonight. I thought he played well. I think a goal would have been a good reward. He basically did score again if Bedard didn't tip that one home. But either way, the Hawks do go to a power play. Dobson, like I said, gets called. Donato has a shot. That's deflected out early. Hawks then cycle. Bertuzzi can't get one. That goes out of the zone. Can't rush to get a puck. That comes out. Habs then clear after Rinzel tries a deke for some reason. Burakovsky late has a burst, but the shot stopped by Samuel Montembeault. The Habs are 3 for 4 on the penalty kill tonight. You like to see that. Crevier shoots one from the line. Montembeault holds with 4 minutes left. A lot of time getting killed. Montembeault has 2 quick saves. He holds each one. Habs then clear twice trying to kill time. They were just sending it down. Not enough for an icing, but just killing time. I think they were kind of playing for to get to overtime at this stage. Newhook with 2 minutes left. He's wide open. There's a backhand shot covered. Habs then try to pressure with a minute left. Hudson around the net pushes. Kirby then sets up Bolduc, whose shot gets held. Bertuzzi then bumps into Doc after the whistle. There's a scrum with a minute left, but that doesn't really go anywhere. Habs can't score with less than a minute left. Caulfield wide open. Knight stops it. Suzuki gets saved. Knight had a really solid game tonight. Despite what his save percentage might look like, he had a good game. And then, holy shit, the Canadians score with 15 seconds left. Caden Gouli has a shot that gets through bodies, it gets through traffic, and it's in. The Habs have a 3-2 lead. Habs are going to win it. It looked like tipped it home, but no, he actually didn't. Gouli still gets the goal. It actually goes off of a stick from a Blackhawk. He gets it from Suzuki and Hudson with 15 seconds left. Jeff Blatchell tries to bitch to the officials. He calls a timeout. He wants an explanation for the good gold call. Rinzel's stick was in Knight's glove. He was trying to argue that, I think it was Slavkovsky, pushes Rinzel into Knight, but nope, he doesn't. Habs get extremely lucky either way with getting that goal. Knight gets pulled before the faceoff. They need to push immediately. Off the faceoff, the Hawks do get into the zone, but the Habs hold on. There's no shot. The puck against the board. And that is it. The shots 28-22 for the Canadians. And a 3-2 win in regulation is what they get. We are past 30 minutes, and this is barely finishes the game at the half-hour mark. A fantastic game for the Montreal Canadiens. A gutsy win against the team they should have blown out. Firstly, just the Hawks are a bad team. They needed to score on at least 2 or 3 more power plays. I think they needed to go at least 5 for 10. That would have been very respectable. At least get chances would have been nice. But despite all that, they, funny enough, score 2 on the power play. They allow 1 on the power play and allow a pretty decent, actually, goal off just an unfortunate icing. All that just to rip a point away from the Blackhawks and win it with 15 seconds left. You could argue buzzer beater. I mean, 15 seconds isn't exactly buzzer beater, but a very late final minute goal either way wins it for the Habs. Would have loved to see them get the empty netter, but obviously that's just me being selfish at that point, which, yeah. So, that's it for the game. We're going to get into the stats and then work our way on out here because, let's be honest, half an hour is more than enough to be talking about a Montreal Canadiens game. Stats-wise, who leads the Canadiens? Well, my God, it's Big Dick Nick Suzuki with 5 assists. That's right, no goals, but 5 helpers. This guy, if he scores 30 this year, he's putting up 100 points. He's probably going to have a 60, 70 assist season. Very well could have 100 points. Zach Bolduc with 3 goals and assists for 4 points. Caulfield with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Brendan Gallagher with 3 assists. Oliver Kapanen with 2 goals. Little selfish past that puck, Cappy. I love Kapanen. Very happy he made the team now. He's looking good. Mike Matheson with a goal and an assist. Alex Carrier, Yuri Slavkovsky, and Caden Gooley each with a goal. Kirby Doc, Alex Newhook, Yvonne Demidov, Noah Dobson, Arbor Jacki, and Lane Hudson each with an assist. Probably one of the few times this year you'll see Lane Hudson and Arbor Jacki in the same category. Caden Gooley with the only fight for the year so far. Obviously, again, we're 3 games in. That's going to change probably within the next 5, I would imagine. So that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. If you listened all the way through, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, whatever, don't forget to hit the subscribe or the follow, depending on which platform you are. Assuming it's on Amazon again, the RSS feed, I don't know. Maybe we're on Amazon, maybe we're not. I don't know yet. But either way, again, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Harry Rice. I'm going to head out now. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen, or a wonderful morning or an afternoon whenever you might be listening to this. The next game for the Canadiens is the home opener on Tuesday. We play the Seattle Kraken. Oh boy, that's sure to be fun. Of course, we'll be live up here after the game to talk about the wonderful, more than likely, tribute they're going to do for Ken Dryden. We're going to talk about how fun the opening game is. We're going to talk about how fun the introductions are. Hopefully they do it better than last year, because last year, as far as I remember, were not that good. It's going to be so weird, a season opener introduction without Carey Price. I hope they still introduce him as a Montreal Canadian, just because that would be fun to see them do that. But yeah, that is going to do it again, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Always remember, no matter how bad... I'm used to last year's outro. No matter how decent we were like last year, or how good we will be like this year, go Habs, go, Ade Montreal, and say it with me, everybody, to close out the pod once again. Syllaboo!